Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's DAF Hayomi, KIDDUSHIN DAF Samach Tes. We are holding at the Mishnah, which is 5 lines from the top of the Amud. Rabbi Tarfon Omer, Yecholin mamzerin li toher. There's a solution for a mamzer. He can find a solution for his kids to spare them of his status, of his stigma. How? Ketzad mamzer shenasa shifcha. If a mamzer marries a Yisraelis, child is a mamzer, takes on the father's identity. Not so if he marries a shifcha kananis, a maidservant. In this case, havlad eved, child simply carries on her identity. He takes on her yichus. She's a shifcha, child's an eved. The father is not reckoned with in this case, and therefore he's not a mamzer. A mamzer is something unique to a Yisrael, born from a mismatch. So a mamzer isn't just a lack of yichus. It's sort of a stamp. It's sort of a label, which only applies to a Yisrael who has higher standards. But an eved, he's not affected by this whole system. He's just a plain eved, havlad eved. And now, what happens next? Shichur Roi, so his father, who owns him, will now release him, free him. Nimtza ben chayrin. We have a freed eved who is now a full-fledged Yisrael without any stigma, without any deficiency. Rav Lezer Omer, no, it doesn't work. Harei eved mamzer. Sure, the child is an eved, but he also is affected by his father, the mamzer's input. He's sort of a crossbreed, eved mamzer. Iboilu, the question is Rabbi Tarfon, who provides this solution for the eved. Lechatchila ka'amar, or the eved ka'amar. Is it something recommended? Is it something that's permissible? Because typically we don't marry a shifcha, but a mamzer doesn't have that requirement, so it's allowed. Or the eved ka'amar, or not really allowed to do this. If it's done after the fact, it's successful, but even a mamzer is not allowed to marry a shifcha. Which way is it? The chatchila or the eved kamar? Tashma has a riot that it's only with the eved. Amalei Rabbi Tarfon. Chachamim respond to Rabbi Tarfon. Tiharta is as charim, v'lo tiharta san akevas. This solution works well for men who are mamzer. They can go and sort of hide the fact that they are, they'll go and find a place where they don't not recognize, and they'll falsely identify themselves as avodim, and that will give them a green light to marry a shifcha. Women are not prone to going and sort of skirting the system and scheming and hiding out and pretending. It's just not their way of doing things. So it's not going to be a solution for her to go wander to a different place where she's not known, and she'll go. So your solution only works for men, not for women, who are mamzerus. And that proves that it's only b'di eved. That's not really allowed. Because if it was allowed, then women would certainly qualify just as men, right? V'yamrus l'chatchila kama, now Rabbi Tarfon was suggesting something l'chatchila, mamzerus nami tinsiv la'avda. Same solution. For the isha mamzerus, she'll marry an eved, whose child will now be an eved. No, eved ein l'chayis. That wouldn't work in any case, because when the mother's a shifcha, that status carries over to her child. It's like the vlada of a behema. But if the isha is not a shifcha, she's a mamzeres, it's just that the father's an eved, there's no yichas, there's no lineage. When it comes to the offspring of a father eved, he has no sort of input. He doesn't affect his mate's offspring. Rashi brings the pasuk, Amadam l'chamar, it's like a chamar. So, like a behema who only identifies with his mother, same by the case of the shifcha, identifies with the mother, not with the father. So even if it's a l'chatchila solution, so we're going to go let the isha mamzeres to match up with an eved kanani, it's not going to affect that. It's not going to have to help her kid. Her kid will still be a mamzer because we sort of ignore the father's input. Tashma. Let's prove our question from another our shaila, whether it's not chila b'di'evet, from the following story. The Rabbi Simlai had this host who he stayed by. And he was a mamzer hapa. The Amalei Rabbi Simlai turns to him, a pity that I didn't know about this earlier. Akad misech, if I would have, known you a bit earlier before you married, tar sinul of I would have helped you cleanse and spare your offspring from your soul, from your mamzerus, because I could have given you an eitzah solution to do that. So, if this solution of marrying a shivcha is something recommended and lechatchila, that it makes sense that Reb Simlai would have told him just that. Eli Amras the Eved, but if it's not meant to be done, my new. So, what would Reb Simlai have told him? To do an isser, to marry a shivcha? Well, no, demonstrably eitzah, he would have given him a different type of solution. There's another way to get access to a shivcha knanis. Go rob a bank and be sold, if you're not able to pay back, you're sold as an evet ivri. And halacha is that an evet ivri, even a Jewish slave, can be paired up with a shivcha knanis, and that's what he would have told him to do. Asks the Gemara, aside from the obvious question, why would he advise him to rob a bank? It's an avera. But the Gemara is a more direct question. The whole Evet Ivri concept, the whole system, was no longer active during Rabbi Simlai's time, after the Churban, Beis HaMikdash. V'amamar, we learned, Ein Evet Ivri noyeg, el bezman sheyevel noyeg. Evet Ivri and Yovel go together. So, this could not have been a solution offered by Rabbi Simlai. The only solution was marry a shivcha. Elalav shmamino, Rabbi Tarfon l'chatchila ka'amar shmamino. So this is a clear raya. The Rabbi Tarfon's solution is l'chatchila, and that's what Rabbi Simlai would have advised him to do had he been familiar with his story earlier. Amar Rabbi Shmuel. In fact, that's the halacha Rabbi Tarfon. Rabbi Lezer Omer, he disagrees. Hareza evet mamzer. Even if the mamzer marries a shivcha, their offspring is still stigmatized. He's an evet, but also a mamzer after his father. Amar Rabbi Lezer. My time with Rabbi Lezer. Why? Damakra loy. This is the pasuk by mamzer. Lo yavai mamzer b'kal Hashem. Gam der asiri lo yavai loy to him b'kal Hashem. So loy is an extra letter, extra word. Halecha chapsuloi. That even if the child is only a mamzer from one side, from his father, it sort of sucks him in and he identifies with the father. Rabbanon, who disagree, what do they do with the pasuk loy, which indicates that we reckon even with a partial mamzer, hahubi Yisrael shenasam mamzeres. That's speaking about a regular case of Yisrael who married an isha Yisraelis who is mamzeres, that the child is stigmatized by the mother, and that's what the pasuk loy is teaching us. Typically, a child in an ordinary Yisraelis marriage identifies with the father. Father is a kohen, he is a kohen, etc. Right? So that's the point of the pasuk. No, when it comes to mamzerus, the child is affected even by the mother's status. Because I would think perhaps a child always identifies with the father's status, father's nationality. So Lo Ya'apke comes Lo and says, no, even if the father is okay, but the mother is a mamzeres, it affects the child. But of course, when it comes to a shivcha, it's a totally different story. Because, like we explained, it's like the child of a behemoth. Rabbi Lezer responds, well, there's not much difference between what you're saying and I'm saying. Lav afagav dekasav, libish b'chaysim, libeis havaysim. So, you mean to say, even though pasuk indicates that typically child identifies with the father, so like comes the pasuk loy by mamzer and says afke, we change it, we switch it. Yisrael married a mamzeres, child is a mamzer. Achanam here as well, a mamzer married a shivcha. Afagav dechsiv, it's a game. The mamzer pull is so strong. The mamzer status is so strong. Afagav dechsiv ha'isha v'yoladea tiladenea. Although the pasuk indicates that Isha and Yoladea, sort of one package deal. Mother is shivcha, child is shivcha. Also, loy comes the pasuk loy by mamzer and apke and undoes that, so to speak. child is also affected by the father's input, in which case he's a mamzer. Rabbanan, they respond, no, here it's different. Yeah, in some cases, loy, the mamzer status of the father affects the child, or the mamzer status of the mother affects the child. But now when there's a shivcha involved, it's a totally different ballgame. Rabbanan, kol vlad v'me'ei shivcha, kananis, a child born by a shivcha kananis, kol vlad v'me'ei behemodam. It's like the fetus of an animal. Basically, what he's saying is that there's no yichus at all. Father's input is totally ignored. That's why if a mamzer married a shivcha, child is purely an eved, free of any mamzerus deficiencies. So we have this machlokes, whether there's a way to solve the mamzer deficiency. Rabbi Tarfon says yes, marry a shivcha, have the vlad become an eved, freed, he's a regular Yisrael, unstigmatized. Rabbi Lezer disagrees. Ha'isha v'yaladea tiyala denea. It's kivlad mehei madami. Sorry, it's Rabbi Lezer disagrees. He says that loy halecha chapsuloi, that even though there's a shivcha involved, father's mamzerus input has an effect. A child is an eved, but an eved mamzer. And we pass like Rabbi Tarfon, lochel ma'isa. I believe Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach has a true about this. You have to know how to do this, but this seems to be a way out for a mamzer. Hadron lacha aimer. Okay, we begin a brand new Mishnah, brand new Perek. Asora yochsam. There were 10 types of Yisraelim with different types of yichus, different types of lineage. Alumi Bavel, that came up with Ezra HaSefer from Bavel during the time of Binyan Bayis Sheni. Who are these 10 groups? Kehani, Leviye, Israeli, Chalali, children born from Psulei Kuna, Geirei, converts, V'charurei, Avodim that were released, Mamzerei, Nisine, that was a group of people who were the Giv'onim, the time of Yeshua, who tricked Yeshua into thinking they came from a foreign land, and they were sort of semi-incorporated into Klal Yisrael. But nevertheless, they remain apart, and they're not really allowed to intermarry and marry into the standard Jewish community. Shtuke, that's a child whose mother silences him when he calls out for his father. So basically, he's a suffik mamzer. Vasufe is even worse. He's totally abandoned. Father, mother, unknown. So we have a total of 10 lineages. And are they allowed to marry, each other? So it depends. Kohanim have the highest standards. Kohana, Levi, Israeli, these 3 groups, Mutar and Levazeh, they can marry each other. But a Kohen may not marry a Ger, or Evet Meshuchra, etc., something that a Levi in Israel can do. So Levi, Israeli, these 2 groups, and also Chalole, Geirei, V'charurei, Mutar and Levazeh, they could all marry into each other. And a step further, Geirei, V'charurei, Mamzirei, Unasine, Shtuke V'asufei, so let's say Yisrael cannot marry a mamzer, a nasin, a shtuki v'asufi, who are really suffik mamzerim, but these 6 groups, geirei, charurei, right, mamzer, have no problem marrying into each other. And Rashi explains because the ger is not called kohol, not part of the original community, so he doesn't have these restrictions. Same thing with the Eved Meshuchrar. Same thing with the Shtuki Vasufe. They're Safik Mamzerim, so they're allowed to marry Vade Mamzerim, as we're going to see later on in the Perek. Ve'eluhem Shtuki. What's a Shtuki? Kolshu Makaris Ima. He knows his mother. Ve'enu Makaris Aviv, but he doesn't know who his father is. It's called a Shtuki because his mother sort of, when he calls out to a certain person, Tati, his mother shh. So it indicates that it's not really his father. What's an asufi? He was picked up on the street. Father, mother, unknown. He would call this fellow, this shtuki, he'd call him beduki, something that has to be investigated and checked out further. We'll see that in the Gemara. The Mishnah begins with Asora Yoichsim Alu Mebavel. My area the Tanu Alu Mebavel. Why does the Mishnah specify that the ascended from Bavel. Why is that important? They came. Who cares where they came from? Nisni, Hochel Eretz Yisrael. Instead, I should say they traveled to Eretz Yisrael. That's the main point. Milsa Agavrucha Kamashmon. The Mishnah is now teaching us something sort of by the way. Because the Sanya, we're going to learn the Brisa that Eretz Yisrael is considered the highest of all the lands. So you're in Eretz Yisrael, you're traveling up to Beis Hamikdash. Malamich Beis Hamikdash Gavayam, Eretz Yisrael. Come to Valisa, you'll travel up. Beis Hamikdash is the highest in Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael Gavayam Mikol Arotzos. And likewise, Eretz Yisrael is the highest land. How do we know? Bishlam Beis Hamikdash Gavayam Mikol Eretz Yisrael. The first part we know. Hanei Dachsiv. Divrei Riva is Bisharecha. We come to Valisa. Okay, so that's the pasuk we just mentioned, right? Yeah. So we're in Eretz Yisrael, and pasuk indicates that wherever you're going to be traveling from in Eretz Yisrael, it's going to be considered going up. We come to Valisa to the Beis Hamikdash. So now we understand. Eretz Yisrael Gavayim Kol Haaretz Milam. But the second point, how do we know Eretz Yisrael is the highest country? The pasuk says, Hina Yamim Boim. Hashem promises that very soon days will come where we're going to experience such great miracles which are going to dwarf our experiences during Yetzias Mitzrayim. And that's going to be our new point of reference. We're no longer going to relate to Hashem as the one taking us out of Mitzrayim. The high point will be the Nisim during Yemais HaMashiach. Ki'im, rather, Chaya Hashem Ashehela, Ashehevi. Asher right? Asher brought us up. Asher Avi is Bnei Yisrael, Me'eretz Tzafin, Mikol Haaretz, Asher Dachtim Sham. So clearly, wherever we come from to Eretz Yisrael is an upward trajectory. It's an upward trip. So it's going up to Eretz Yisrael is the highest. Now the Maharsha explains, why is it the highest? So basically, on a ball, you can just point to any point and say this is the highest. Right? So even though on our globe it doesn't say Eretz Yisrael is the highest, but that's considered the top of the globe. Eretz Yisrael is the focal point of the world. Hashem created the world from Eretz Yisrael, so that's the starting point. That's the highest on the globe. The Maharal explains, we're speaking in a spiritual sense. Eretz Yisrael, the Beis Hamikdash, contains the highest spiritual value found anywhere. Okay, in any case, that's the point of the Mishnah. You should know, Olu mi Bavel, traveling to Eretz Yisrael is considered Aliyah. My area the Tani Olu mi Bavel. But still, why mention where they came from? Nisni Olu Eretz Yisrael. Rather, I should just say they went up to Eretz Yisrael. Masayel Rabbi Lezer. This is a right to Rabbi Lezer. Don't Rabbi Lezer lo Ola Ezra mi Bavel. Acha Asa Kisilis Nikiv Ola. Ezra HaSofer knew that he was leaving Bavel, and he wasn't leaving too many chachamim behind. So he made sure to address the needs of the local communities in Bavel who were not leaving Eretz Yisrael at the time, and clean them out. Also, kisilis nikeh, like purified, sifted flour. Basically, he separated and removed and brought along with him all the questionable Yisraelim, all the psulim, lest they, intermarry into the local Bavel community. So he was mafresh them with him to Eretz Yisrael. That's the point of the Mishnah. Asor yechsim olomi Bavel. On his way out of Bavel, he took them with him. Itmar. Now we have two versions in the Lashon of the Mishnah. Abaye Omar Olu Me'aleim Tanan. Olu means they decided on their own to come with Ezra. So the Psulim volunteered to come along. For Rava Amar, no, He'elum Tanan. The Lashon is He'elum. He forced them out. Al Korcham, says Rashi. What's the point of the machlekes? The Kamifleki, so it appears that the machlekes between Abaye and Rava revolves around what we just mentioned. What process did Ezra HaSofer employ upon departing Bavel? The Kamifleki b'd Rabbi Lezer. Don't Rabbi Lezer. Lo yola Ezra in Bavel, right? Acha also k'selos nakia. V'Allah. Abaye less than Rabbi Lezer. So Abaye doesn't hold Rabbi Lezer. Right? So basically, he just he doesn't hold the Rabbi Lezer. He doesn't hold that he did this cleansing process and If they came on their own. It wasn't by way of force. Rav, on the other hand, is the Rabbi Lezer, that Ezra al-Sefer separated them and brought them with him. Isla Rabbi Lezer. Rabbi say another pshat can be the Kuli Alma Isla Rabbi Lezer. Everybody holds Rabbi Lezer. Ezra al-Sefer did go ahead and clean out the community, separated the psulim. Certainly he did that. Phase 1, he did. The question is whether he did phase 2. Did he take them with him against their will, or did they, just decide that it's to their benefit to leave and to come to Eretz Yisrael, so that perhaps there they'll fare better, they won't be stigmatized, because here in Bavel they've already been labeled by Ezra. So that's the question. What happened? Machlekes is like this. Mar Savar. Abaye holds Afrushinu. Certainly, Ezra was mafresh them. He separated them from the rest of the community. He labeled them. And once they've been labeled, they figured, look, we have nothing to do here anymore, and we'll go up to Eretz Yisrael. Perhaps we'll mix into the community there. Ubin Avshayu Sliku. They came up on their own. Mar Savar, Rabbi holds Baal Kor Chayu Asrukinu. No. Not only did he do phase 1, separate them, he brought them with him to keep the Bavel community safe. So if you hold that they just came up on their own, Hainu Dam Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel, that is consistent with Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel, who says like this: Kol harotzos isol Eretz Yisrael. In terms of standards, purity of lineage, all other countries are considered like a mix, not as pure as Eretz Yisrael. Rashi says because in Eretz Yisrael they have the Kehanim, they're more prone to focus on Yichus and live with that, with those standards. So other lands don't have that advantage. And on the other hand, even Eretz Yisrael relative to Bavel is considered deficient. Where Eretz Yisrael Isla Bavel. Eretz Yisrael has lower standards than Bavel. And this is all explained because we're going with Alu, that they just came up on their own. The psulim that Ezra separated from the Bavel community, they came up and they traveled on their own. And since they were just coming on their own, there was nobody to actually declare them as psulim once they arrived in Eretz Yisrael. They didn't go into the official record, so to speak. So they slowly assimilated into the local community, and that's why we say Eretz Yisrael is considered a lower standard than Bavel, because Eretz Yisrael, in Bavel, we no longer had these psulim. They were taken away from Bavel, but then they mixed into Eretz Yisrael somewhat. So we have a lower standard in Eretz Yisrael. Elamanda Omer Helam. But if you hold that Ezra Sefer took them with him, Baal Karcham, and Rashi says, that would come along with a public declaration. There would be a clear way of identifying. Look, these are the psulim coming along with great fanfare, right? So, Meidi Adinus, everybody knows who they are. There's no chance that they would mingle into the local Eretz Yisrael community. So why is Eretz Yisrael considered to be affected by them? Answer is, Nihidi Yadi Laudara. True. The members of that generations were fully aware. Oh, these are the psulim. But L'Dara Achrin L'Yadi. But subsequently, in future generations, it slowly got phased out. It got hazy and forgotten, and therefore, ultimately, it's inevitable that there was some sort of mixing up and lowering of standards in Eretz Yisrael. Now, if you go that they just went up on their own, Ezra wasn't directly involved in bringing them up. That's what the pasuk says, that he wasn't, intimately aware with everything. All members of his group coming over to Eretz Yisrael. It says, so Ezra is describing that they stopped off on the way to Eretz Yisrael, and I'm taking a look at who's coming along, and I take a look ba'am of Kehanim. I find regular Israel and Kehanim, but guess what? Umi b'nei Levi lematzasi sham. I couldn't find the Leviim. Rashi explains, although there was some Leviim, but they were not fit for playing instruments. He brings that the Medrash that the very Erlich Leviim on the way out of Eretz Yisrael, in the time of Nebuchadnezzar, when they were asked by him to sit and sing from Shirei Tzion, they said, we can't. What happened was they bit off their thumbs. They were Moshe Nefesh not to duplicate the Shira of the Beis Hamikdash out of Eretz Yisrael to the Nebuchadnezzar of Russia. So those Erlich Yidden came back. Those Levim did return, but regular Levim who were fit for playing instruments, who were fit in body and spirit, and were not balimum, did not return with Ezra. And that's why, in fact, he punished them. They took away the Masarishan. So bottom line is, he was sort of taken aback. What's going on? Where are the Levim, right? Why was he surprised? He knew exactly who was coming. He was involved in putting together the group of people, right? Oh, no, he wasn't. Because they just came on their own. But if he was involved in actually bringing the group up, so he knew exactly who was taking part in this entourage, right? They knew exactly who was coming, which psulim, which people, right? So why was he surprised as to the content of this entourage? Answers the Gemara, yeah, he was paying attention to the psulim. That was his focal point. He did Isser b'psulim, but b'ksherim le'izdar, he wasn't paying attention to the ordinary people, the ksherim. So yeah, in fact, he was surprised that Levim were not present. Okay, so bottom line is, Asor Yechsim al Bavel, 10 groups of different types of lineages came up with Ezra Sefer from Bavel. We know certainly that he was, at least Rabbi Lezer says he was involved with separating the psulim for concern that they might eventually assimilate with the local Bavel community. And there's a shaila as to how far he went. Did he actually force them to come up with him, or did they come up on their own? Abaya and Rava have that discussion. The reason why the Mishnah mentions Alu, to indicate that Eretz Yisrael is considered elevated, whether physically or spiritually, from all the other lands of the world. So all the 10 groups, Kehani, Levi, Yisraeli, Menol and Desligu, how do you know that they came up with Ezra? So we have Kehanim, Levim, Yisraelim, all mentioned as arriving in Eretz Yisrael. Chaloli, Geder, B'charud, Chaloli, Melon, how do we know that Chalolim arrived? The Sanya, Rabbi Yisrael, Gedoyle Chazaka. I'll show to you. I'll highlight for you the greatness of the power of Chazaka. Right? The Chazaka is, a person's track record, his presumed status. This concept of Chazaka is so powerful. Look, Shenemar. Pasuk says, like this. So again, this is describing the early Bavel. B'nei Kehanim, B'nei Chavaya, B'nei HaKoitz, B'nei Barzilai, Asher Lokach, B'nei Barzilai, Giladi Elisha, V'yikari al Shmam, Eile Bikshu Ksavam HaMesiachsim. So they were looking for some sort of Ksav Yichus, a document certifying their lineage. So they didn't come up with any documents to certify their Kahuna Yichus. V'yigoyalu, they will consider Chalalim, they will rejected min hakuna. Vayemar Tirshasa. Tirshasa was Nechemya ben Chachlayim. Rashi says, according to one pshat, he was called Tirshasa, a lashon of shtia. He was given a special heter to drink, to taste the king's wine, lest they suspect him of poisoning it. So he had to sort of sample it, and that's what he was called Hatar Shasa, lashon shtia. He got a special permit from the Chacham to drink. In any case, Nechemya turned to these Kayanim, these questionable Kayanim, lahem. You can't partake in karbanos. Ad amoid kohen urim v'tumim. Until Mashiach comes, and we have the kohen gadol urim v'tumim, and then we'll figure out who you are. So what was he telling them? Look, I'll keep your chazaka, I'll keep your previous status. Basically, whatever you were permitted to consume back in Bavel, I'm not going to take that away from you. There's a chazaka that you can hold on to that. In Goyla, in Bavel, what would you eat? What were you eating? Because you have karbanos that you can eat anywhere within the boundary, within the Eretz Yisrael, within the the Jewish community, territory, basically truma, that can be eaten even outside the Beis Hamikdash in Yerushalayim. So you were eating truma there. Keep that privilege. Afkan here in Eretz Yisrael as well. Nam because you can have truma, but not karbanis because you're considered chalalim. So bottom line, first of all, we see that we have chalalim amongst Ezra's entourage. Okay, so that's been proven. Now comes a question. Let's analyze the halachic aspect of this whole conversation between Nehemiah and the chalalim. The questionable kayanim. Let's call them the questionable kayanim. So we're allowing them truma, but there's a shita that when you see a kohen having truma, that's an automatic green light. that serves to certify his status, you consider him a miyuchas. You can, Kohen can marry his daughter. So, according to that approach, giving them truma is a dangerous proposition, because it would indicate that they're proper kehanim. How can we allow that? Hani da achal b'truma, once they're eating truma, Asula Sakina will upgrade them, will consider them certified kehanim. The answer is Shani Hasam, it's different. The Riachas Kasayu. There's no concern, because their status is sort of been questioned, been put into question, because you see, we're limiting their access to only truma, in contrast to the regular kohanim nearby who are having karbanis. That sort of raises a flag. Oh, these guys are different. So that labels them as questionable kohanim, and nobody will make that mistake. Well, if that's the case, if there's no room for any concern, so what's Rabbi saying? Well, look, the power of chazaka. Which almost sounds like, despite some sort of risk that we're taking, chazaka overrides that. There's no risk here, right? Just like they had truma yesterday, they have it today. Says the Gemara, there is a difference. Something changed today once they arrived in Eretz Yisrael. You see, truma and chutzlar is only d'Rabbanan. But today we're giving them regular truma. We see the power of chazaka. You say another pshat. What changed? Perhaps, no, even today in Eretz Yisrael, they only gave them truma, which is legally d'Rabbanan. Rashi says, like, truma of fruit and vegetables, only d'Rabbanan. They didn't give them truma of grain, which is d'Oraisa, because of their questionable status. So, in what way are we highlighting the power of chazaka? There's not much risk here. And the truth is that this automatic upgrade, when we see a kohen eating truma, we automatically assume he's a proper kohen. That's only when he's having truma d'Oraisa. But the Rabbanan lemaskinim, we see him eating truma d'Rabbanan, that's not much of an indication. So basically, there's no risk involved. So what's the big deal with the chazaka? The answer is there is some sort of. We're going a step further. The mikara lecha lemigzah mishum truma d'Oraisa. When they were in Bavel, there was no chance that they were going to step over and have truma d'Oraisa. There was no truma d'Oraisa in Bavel, so the risk was very, very minor. But ultimately, when they came to Eretz Yisrael, true, we're limiting their access to truma d'Rabbanan. But you know what? You have truma d'Oraisa right around the corner. Even though there's good reason to believe that, we should be concerned that they might jump over to truma d'Oraisa, still we weren't concerned. We let them keep their chazaka. We maintained their privileges. But the Rabbanan, but the d'Oraisa lo yachal. Ask the Gemara, how could you say that we limited their access to only truma d'Rabbanan? The pasuk just said, he told them, keep away from karbanis. That's all. Because we didn't leichel, but other things like truma, even their rice, so we gave them. That's not what he meant. They're blocked out from everything. When he said kodesh kadashim, he meant both things. Keep away from kodesh or from kadashim. Meaning, keep away from kodesh, which is another way of describing truma. Don't have kodesh, so we see that kodesh is synonymous with truma. Keep away from truma d'Oraisa. And likewise, you can't access kadashim. That's karbanis. Amakra. We find kadashim in describing karbanis of askoyin, kesiel lishdar. Right? He b'truma sakachim loisaychal. So Baskoyin married a Yisraeli. She can't have trumas hakachim. What is that? That's karbanis. V'amamar b'muram and hakachim. That's the part of the karbanis that's separated and given to the kohen. Loisaychal. So you see kadashim as a reference to karbanis, which these questionable kohanim were blocked from. Okay, so once again we have a machlokes or Tafan or Belezer, whether a mamzer has a way out for his descendants. We discussed Asar Yechsam, which Ezra painstakingly brought with him to Eretz Yisrael in order to spare and protect the Jewish communities that were staying back in Bavel. And we learned about the Kohanim, Levim, Yisraelim, Chalolim. So far we have psukim for all these, and tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, we're going to see further where we find the other groups amongst his entourage. All the best to you, and Atzlacha Rabbah.